right now. Those are some memories from the homeschool days. But the main thing I think of when I think of homeschooling is that it's really not about education. It's not really about the schooling. It's about discipleship, and that's the goal. And that was the goal of my parents. And that homeschooling isn't the end. It's the means to an end. And that my parents' goal for us was that we would love the Lord.
How other people do things. It's a monkey see, monkey do attitude.
Indeed, indeed. Stupid monkey philosophy. Doing this because I haven't done one in a while. Probably won't do one for a little while longer. Essentially, because I know nobody will be viewing this at any point in the near future. Good. I have noticed myself becoming particularly more disturbed by certain behaviors in other people. I think they're more commonplace behaviors these days. One of them is ghosting. Ghosting is something that I've seen a lot of. And in criticizing myself or my reaction to being ghosted, in confidence to a friend, I call it. But really, when I look at the mentality of somebody who has to ghost another person, especially like a friend or somebody that they considered a friend, and then just cut them off without explanation, without warning, right? Actually seems like a very weak personality trait. It seems like a very pathetic person who would just cut somebody out of their experience without warning, without explanation. Because you're so impotent that you can't even express yourself to another human being whom you once trusted. Now I can see it if that person was like some kind of monster, somebody who had done you great harm. It's like, okay, get clear the fuck away from them, right? But it's somebody who was like just genuinely involved in your life as a friend, you had established a rapport, and then you just suddenly cut contact with them. And like, is that a show of strength? Because we have so many potential points of contact in this existence. But when we exercise discretion to limit those points of contact, like what is the basis of that motivation? Some people do it to earn brownie points with others, right? Like in these online spaces, say, oh, I'm never going to allow this person into my open room. I'm never going to allow that person into my side chat because they have ideas that I disagree with, and they have ideas that you disagree with. And so we're going to mob up and say, oh, we're going to, cancel this person. We're going to use our power to silence this person on our platform, right? Which you have every right to do. I'm not saying you can't do that. Just saying under what conditions ought one do that. But when you're talking about like interpersonal relationships, friendships, right? I guess this mentality where we assign value to people. What am I going to get out of them in the short term, in the long term? It kind of prevails. Say, hey, what can I get out of this person? What are they going to do for me? How am I going to benefit from this relationship? Of course. Any good relationship ought to be mutually beneficial in some way. You have a business relationship, it's financially beneficial. You have some other kind of relationship, be it fulfills your needs, emotionally or whatever, socially. But people, seems to me, some people are very quick to just cut a person out entirely, not even distancing yourself from a person, right? That would be completely different. And to give entirely the opposite message, like in my case, the person that I'm thinking of, the last time that they contacted me, said, hey, no, I really want to hang out. I really want to do all those things that we were talking about. That would be cool, right? And then nothing. These are two contradictory messages, right? Messages, hey, I still really want to maintain a relationship with you, but let me not respond to you ever again. It's confusing. People are confused. I just came from Chris Lucas's channel. It's interesting. I was going to get on the panel, but I think he was focused more on talking to other theists. So I decided to bow out. I don't know if he's going to let me in or not. We've never interacted before, I don't think. But he was talking about time, and we were speaking about time earlier on Togg's channel as well. And there was a point I had wanted to make in regards to time and perspective and this presentism, right? Like it is always the present, wherever you are, whatever you are, whether you're a person or a rock, it's always now for you in your particular place and time, right? Our view of time is kind of myopic, right? So scientists try to look at time on broad scales, light years, things like that, right? Which really just quantifies time over distance. And so time is relative for you, the observer, as to your particular point, your place in the universe, right? So for us on Earth here, our the way that we quantify time is in relation to our position around the sun, right? As we are in orbit, we know that we have a solar lunar cycle, and we can reliably quantify how much time we will have daylight and non-daylight on this planet. That's how we quantify time from our perspective, right? Time is relative to where you are in space. Time is functioning slightly differently outside of the Earth's orbit. It's functioning a little bit differently on Mars or Venus, perhaps. Their relationship to time is going to be based on their particular position in the universe and their perspective. How uh, how they're quantifying whatever finite place they take up in space, right? And for how long? And so, to Chris Lucas's point, yes, I mean, definitionally, I think you have an omnipresent God, any type of God, really. God had to create everything that exists in the universe, then God would have to exist outside of time and space. It only makes sense. But especially time. Time is a non-thing to God because God would probably have to quantify time, I think. Right? Everything would be relative to God in this argument. Not that I believe this argument, but trying to steel man. That's not actually the way that time works. Time, again, is just a position of observation for any given observer. So while it is nighttime for me, where I am on the earth, for another observer, another human observer on the same earth, it will be midday. In relation to the sun, it's the present for both observers. But our relation to time differs because of our position on the globe in the solar system. Our relationship to time is slightly different. We exist in the same present, but we observe different occurrences relative to our position in time. I hope that clears that up. I hope that made a bit of sense. Okay, well, I think that's about all.